Previously, on Fire Emblem, Shadow Dragon and the Blade of Light, Marth arrives at the Macedonian border, clashing with the border defense. marches deeper into the Macedon area, defeating Michaelis' dragoons and acquiring the Starlight Tome from Goto, then finally finds Phabes, defeating Garnev, as well as retrieving the Falchion and rescuing his sister. With Falchion in hand, Marth makes his move towards the Dolhr Empire to end Medeus' reign of tyranny. Marth arrives at Dolhr, the land of Manakites. It was here that Medeus revived and began his campaign of conquest. Thanks to Marth's efforts though, his ambitions have been greatly reduced. The final conflict is at hand. In this map, 15 units must be deployed, with Elise having joined our roster as a deployable unit during the previous chapter. Elise is a curate. Her stats are unremarkable, and while some of her growths are amazing, her class does not facilitate easy leveling up at all, especially considering just how much of the game is left. She does have enough weapon level for most staves, except for Ward. Her one advantage though is being the exclusive user of the Ohm Staff, which allows for the revival of an allied unit. It only has a single use and can only be used in this chapter on the Southern Temple, otherwise she's just like any other curate. The player army starts in the northwest corner of the map, while the enemy army has units scattered throughout the south and the east. Next to our starting position is a convoy, an armory holding the sword inventory of chapter 22, a vendor holding an inventory of healing staffs, as well as a house, which tells of the southern temple, where the Ohm Staff is used for its power of revival. A mountain range separates us from the rest of the map, so I warp Tiki to deal with the Manakites, while my cavalry circumvents the mountain range to deal with the eastern units. I warp Marth as well to the southern temple, where he opens a chest holding a devil sword. The thief in this map drops a devil sword as well when defeated. This map's forts will spawn reinforcements if I'm not fast enough to block. In the southwest corner of the map is a plains tile in the middle of mountain tiles. This is the location of the last secret shop of the game, holding many stat boosters, most importantly, Draco shields and boots. With the map mostly cleared, I deal with the boss. Guarding the entrance to Dolhr Keep is Zemsel, a level 10 Manakite with a Mage Stone. Immune to magic he may be, but being a Manakite makes him weak to Worm Killers and the Divine Stone, so naturally, I defeat him with a single attack from Tiki. I seize the castle with Marth, Medeus declaring he won't surrender to our advance, and daring Marth to face him, threatening to show the power of the Earth Dragons. Marth storms the keep. As Marth enters the keep, he is surprisingly greeted by Goto. He had been indifferent to the affairs of man, but after seeing Marth's struggles and efforts, he decided that perhaps he had been wrong in this assessment. While he can't defeat Medeus, he will help deal with his minions, telling Marth to defeat Medeus and bury him in the earth he came from. In this map, 15 units must be deployed, and Goto joins for a 16-unit strong army. Goto is a bishop. He comes with incredible stats, having maxed out skill, weapon level, speed, and even resistance. He also comes with incredible growths, though he might not be able to take advantage of those. Another boon is his selection of items, including the Thoron Tome and Fortify Staff. He's a great addition to the army, though his lower movement might not be very helpful. He can at least contribute with Fortify. The player army starts scattered in 4 separate positions, 2 in the south and 1 on each of the northern corners. The enemy army meanwhile has scattered units ready to meet each of my groups, with some units occupying the throne room. This map will close doors on me through the various rooms if I'm not fast enough to exit or block them. The lack of unit redeployment can create groups with uneven strength, but I have a way of mitigating this. I move Goto next to the door to attract the attention of the Javelin Paladin, while using warp staffs to move units around the rooms as necessary. Lucky for me, I have 3 warp users, each on a different group. I warp Zane from the South Pocket group to the northwest to transform into Minerva, then warp him to deal with the Worm Killer Paladin. A risky move, but he drops the Worm Killer when defeated. I also use the Geosphere's power to deal damage to all units for the first 3 turns, compensating for the damage I take with the Fortify Staff. With this help, the Northern Hero is defeated for a Worm Killer drop, the Southern Hero is defeated for a Silver Sword drop, the Manakite that clashes with Marth's group drops a Vulnerary, the Western Bishop drops a Door Key, while the Wyvern Knight drops a Levin Sword. Once the situation is stabilized, I warp units to deal with the snipers on the throne room, as well as the curates. I also take this time to check the vendor on the southeast, which sells keys and vulneraries, as well as covering the nearby forts, as well as the stairs in the side corridors, which will spawn reinforcements. Left near Medeus is a Manakite, which I deal with Tiki. And finally, only the Shadow Dragon is left. Sitting on the throne of Dolhr is Medeus, a level 20 Manakite holding the Earth Stone. This stone grants him an incredible defense boost, as well as negating magic and ranged attacks. It also makes Medeus take regular damage from anti-dragon effective weapons. The only way to hurt him is with high strength units holding high might weapons like the Medeus or Marth using the Falchion. I deal with him with Marth, getting a lucky critical hit during the first round of combat, which means I defeat Medeus in only 2 rounds of combat. Medeus exclaiming that although he might be defeated, as long as darkness lives in the hearts of men, he will return. Finally, Medeus is gone, and light returns to the war-torn continent of Archanea. After a long journey, Marth can finally put down his sword. Marth and Seda will return to Talos, but after that, Marth must return to Althea to start its rebuilding efforts. Princess Ninid, though, decides to nudge Marth towards confessing his true feelings for Seda, with Seda agreeing to go to Althea with Marth. This is the end of Fire Emblem, Shadow Dragon and the Blade of Light. 25 chapters finished in 271 turns. Being the first of its series and one of strategy RPG's pioneers, this game poses a few challenges, considering the rather obtuse inventory management and the lack of redeployment, and some rather cryptic recruitments, but also compensates with strong units given to the player throughout the game, copious amounts of gold to be spent on stores for strong items, as well as stat boosters. It also has some interesting maps, standouts in my opinion being chapters 1, 10, and 16. I would still argue it deserves to be with the other greats of its time, not just among RPGs or strategy games, but overall. Thank you for watching. I may have started with Fire Emblem, but there are still many worlds out there waiting to be explored. See you next time.